Hello Internet, and welcome back to another Remnant video. This one is the armor video. It's basically going to be a showcase of every single armor set available in the game, plus all of their alternate colours. There's no particularly easy way of doing this, sadly. It's going to be a little bit fiddly in editing and so on and so forth, but here we go. The one big problem with this game is that pulling out the camera so that you can see the character in its entirety is kind of tricky. So you're going to have to make do with this particular angle. And it's going to be ever so slightly different for each one, I imagine, if I try and shift it around to show you the back. Which, to be fair, is going to be mostly a backpack. So we're going to kick it off with this, which is the Adventurer's gear. Recently got a new headpiece from the survival mode, which is quite nice. So this is its original colour. There's also an alternative colour, slightly darker, slightly less green, and that has got the Treasure Hunter armor set bonus, which gives you an increased chance to get loot from destroying breakables. Increases the amount of scrap picked up by 20%. So 35% chance with all three pieces to get extra stuff. Quite nice. Let's go on to... This is the original Akari set. Very, very dusty and drab. Nice overcoat and a mask. And then there is the alternate set, which gives you a much more ninja-esque vibe, a nice dark leather coat to go with that. And the set bonus for that is Opportunist, which gives you increases movement, firing, melee, reload, and evade speed for 10 seconds after you perfect dodge. Also slightly increases your evade window, extra 30% speed, which is pretty nice. Next up, we've got the original Bandit jacket. Acquired from the bandits in the Earth Zone. It's scratty. Nice gas mask style face. It's got an alternate colour. The Brigand stuff. Just got a really nice kind of patched up shirt, which I quite like, as well as a little bit more detail on the face. A darker leather. Generally speaking, quite a funky looking set. I do quite like the scarf on that one. Set bonus, freeloader. Chance to replace spent bullet on hit. Increases ammo acquired on pickup. So you've got 35% chance to get your ammo back after you have used it. Next, the bomber hat's separate. We've got the carapace stuff. This is new in the swamps of Corsus. It's got this nice shiny beetle armor. Reminds me very much of the collector's armor from Mass Effect, actually. This one. Very big, clumpy boots, but keep in mind that everything's going to be slightly out of whack because I've had to bump the field of view up so that this can be visible. And this is the alternate set with kind of this nice bleached white chitinous look to it. I actually quite like that one, though I wish the reds on the body were a little bit darker. The set bonus for this one is Harden. When you get hit, damage is reduced, encumbrance is increased, and movement speed is reduced for 3.5 seconds, stacking 5 times. When getting hit, also has a 10% chance to reduce damage taken by 30%. So it goes up in terms of its reduction and the amount of encumbrance it gives you for 3.5 seconds. It's an interesting one, quite good for melee purposes. And again, that is very much a kind of heavy armor set. Right, next up, we've got the cultist stuff. Now, as one of the original 3 pieces of kind of basic armor in the game, if you've got a pre-order for this, you actually get 3 sets of skins now. So you've got your typical duster, scarf, and jacket combo, lots of bling, and a really cool hat on the basic. The Doomsayer is the outfit that you get for the pre-order, which gives it white all over and a nice little pattern on the end of the coat that matches the scarf. in a nice way. Just look a little bit like you're wearing a sack as a jacket in there. And then the new one is this, which I think looks really, really cool. You've got this lovely green black leather jacket underneath, but this lovely green coat, which has got loads and loads and loads of sigils and a little bit of detail on the hat, which I quite like. So the set bonus for that, and it is a lightweight set of armor. Blood pact, ranged and melee hits generate additional mod power. Mod power is generated slowly over time, up to 40% mod power generation. If you like a summoning build or a build that uses lots and lots of mods, like I do, this one is really quite excellent. Right. For some reason, and swap that back over. Right, Drifter Set. This is the one that you find on Earth. You can find 2 pieces of it in the start in the Founder's Hideout and the headpiece out in the world. Quite like that as well. Very much a kind of post-apocalyptic. Looks very Star Wars-esque, if I'm honest. That's the base set. And then we've got the Vagrant Set, which has got a little bit of a camouflage feel, including on the mask. Slightly darker metallic pieces. Quite like that one as well. I'm not entirely sure where the camo would be particularly useful. Set bonus for that, and this is medium armor. Wanderer, stamina cost is reduced for pretty much everything. Stamina regen is increased by 15%, 40% at all 3 pieces. Good for just getting around and speed running stuff if you don't want to stop and fight. Next up, this is the Elder Sets. This has gone through numerous changes in terms of what it actually does, but in terms of its look, it's got this kind of washed out feather cape and headdress, cool mask, strapped leather boots. Very much reminiscent of the Pan, which is very cool indeed. Its alt skin, however, is the Bloodletter look, and I really like this one. I like the red of the mask feathers and the dark red of the, well, it's more magenta or burgundy, isn't it, of the tunic. All the extra details. And the kind of blood-tinged feathers as well. I really, really like that skin. I think that's very cool indeed. The actual stat for this lightweight set is Believer. This is the current set bonus. Believer, Dragon Hearts increase the total damage dealt by all allies standing within 40 meters even, for 20 seconds. Gives a 25% chance to not consume that hearts. And that's 35% damage for 20 seconds to all allies. So a good set if you are co-oping and wants to be a support character. What's next? Next up is the Hunter Set. This, again, is one of the basic armor sets from the original game. And as such, it's got 3 skins. Very washed out leather. Looks hard worn. Obviously, everything looks washed out in ROM, but it's the place with the best lighting that I could find. Including the gas mask, very much a kind of post-apocalyptic feel to it again. The Nightstalker is the pre-order bonus. Dark leather trench coat with some red accents on it. Same goes for the orange and red on the mask. The cloth physics on this particular outfit is nice as well. And the new one is the Widowmaker. If you've ever wanted to go for a Dante Devil May Cry style approach, you've got that beautiful red leather trench coat to go with it, plus some kind of rusty stains and paint stains actually on the trousers. Very much looking worn out. The set bonus currently is Sharpshooter, which increases damage versus weak spots up to 50% for 3 pieces. And increases the effective range of all firearms by 2 meters. Nice light armor set, good cloth physics. Okay. Next up, we have the second of the new sets in the Swamps of Corsus DLC. This is the Labyrinth Sets, which you may have seen on some of my thumbnails. I really like this. I don't really know what it reminds me of. It reminds me of something. But I like the kind of glowing stuff in the cracks. The headdress looks very, very cool, though not so cool with the parasite's grapple mechanic. It looks a little bit weird like that. But yeah, very, very cool looking. And of course, there is an alt version of this as well, which is the mystic stuff. I'm not entirely sure which of these I prefer, if I'm honest. I think I like the green and gold of the tabard a bit more. And if you're using kind of corrosive weapons and stuff, the green does match reasonably well. But you can see there how it glows in the dark, which is really, really cool. Set bonus for the Labyrinth armor or the Mystic armor is Power Surge, which increases your total weapon mod damage by up to 50%. Also, all scrap and iron towards the wearer. It's a little bit flaky, is that, but it's decent enough for just running through areas and just hoovering stuff up. It doesn't work on crystals or ammunition. It's just kind of crafting stuff. That's a medium set of armor as well. Right. Leto or Leto stuff. I'm not entirely sure whether it's Leto or Leto. This is the only ultra heavy armor in the game, as far as I'm aware, unless they've added a new one in that I've missed. And it's a big piece of super heavy, super tanky, lots of plate iron, big shoulder pads, kind of a welding mask style thing. It's got an alt as well, which is the Sentinel armor. Not sure about the yellow stripe down the center of that one, but I do like the corroded kind of metal look of the boots and headpiece. So that's the Sentinel super heavy armor. Set bonus for this ultra heavy piece is Juggernaut, which reduces the stagger so you don't get knocked around. Enemies targeting the wearer take an additional 15% total damage and reduces stagger level by 1, but only if you are wearing the whole set. What's next? Osseous. We're getting towards the bottom of the list now, so it's taking slightly longer to get down there. So this is the Osseous set, which, if I remember correctly, was originally found here on ROM. I might be wrong about that. Lots of little bone details. Quite a cool kind of almost Roman gladiatorial helmet with extra bone details on. That's the base version of the set. Some of these I actually haven't looked at. Ooh, that's yeah. That's interesting. I'm not entirely sure what to think of that. I quite like the yellow detail. But yeah, you've got this kind of dyed bone look to it. Quite cool. Set bonus for this medium set is Bloodlust. Subsequent range or melee hits against the same enemy increase the wearer's total damage dealt to that enemy, so it's a cumulative effect. Effect degrades over time. Melee speed and fire rate are increased by 5%. That's across the board. So an extra 35% maximum damage, which stacks up, can really help deal with bigger enemies and bosses. Right. Radiant armor. This, I seem to recall, was used by a lot of people when the game came out. It's got quite a cool look to it. Golden details with little gemstones. Very much in fitting with the general game as a whole in terms of its outlook and aesthetic. But we've also now got the Crusader, which gives it this kind of jade look, which I quite like. The jade and the purple goes quite nicely together. It's still got the tiny, tiny gemstones in places. Yeah, if you like your sets a little bit darker, that one works quite nicely. Heavy armor gives you the momentum armor set bonus. Critical hits increase crit chance and crit damage for 2.5 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. Recoil is reduced by 10%. Up to 2.5% crit chance and damage, stacking for a total of 25%. Which is quite nice. Especially if you've got a crit heavy build. Scrapper. This is one of the This is the third, actually, of the original armor sets. Still not a huge fan of that helmet, but I do like the fact that he's got a tire for a shoulder pad, which I think is quite amusing. So there's two alternate skins for this. Gladiator was the pre-order bonus, which has got these stripes on it. I think actually that this is even worse, really, color scheme wise. I know yellow and black is danger, and I guess that works for this kind of close melee combat fighter style. This is the newest one, Roughneck. Okay, so slightly burnished bronze helmet and accessories. Very brown overall. Might be good for some of you. It's not a bad set bonus either. Challenger increases the total damage dealt by up to 35% to enemies within 5 meters. Receive 15% less damage from enemies within that range. So again, a real kind of scrapper in your face melee style build. Right, next up is Slayer. We're almost done. Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure what to say about the helmet for this set. It just makes me think of a duck, if I'm honest, or a tadpole kind of trying to crawl into your helmet. It's very, very strange. Otherwise, though, not a bad look. I haven't seen the alternative for this. I think I like the color scheme a bit more just by looking at the pictures. Well, I quite like the jade details on there. I quite like the change to the patchwork as well. I think actually that jade glows, doesn't it? Does it? Is it glowing? Yeah, it is. It pulsates in and out, the glowing detail. So that's a cool little touch. Not bad. Assassin is the armor set bonus for this. Medium set armor. Reloading increases the total damage dealt to the next enemy hit with that weapon. Reload speeds increased by 10%, up to 30% damage. Good for one-shot weapons like the sniper rifle or the crossbow or the ricochet rifle. Almost done. Twisted. So this is the Twisted set found on Earth from one of the events. I've always liked this particular set. The kind of root wood crawling over the arms, the kind of ready off-the-shoulder cape style thing, and the hood. There is, of course, also the Twisted mask, which doesn't technically go with the set in terms of its aesthetic, but does go with the set in terms of its set bonus. But yeah, the alt for this is Corrupted, and I have taken a look at this, and I really like it. This is the Corrupted version of it, which again has got some glowy bits on it. In fact, you can just about see the kind of flickering, pulsating redness on that. A little bit darker, a little bit bloodier. Again, makes you feel like a member of the Root. There is no alt version for the mask, sadly. The mask is going to be the same regardless. Set bonus for this medium armor is Regrowth. Slowly regenerates health over time, up to 0.98 health per second. Melee hits steal health from enemies, so you can combine that with the ring that gives you melee health leech as well. Finally, we've got the Void armor. Still a lot of people's go-to armor, and probably one of the coolest looking armors in the game, if I'm honest. This kind of bleached exoskeleton mummy look with the bandage wrappings on the arm really does make you feel like some kind of Egyptian pulp badass. I've always liked that set. It's got a great set bonus as well. But also, And you might have seen this in one of my other videos. But it's now got a really kind of cool, dark scheme as well. Again, with some of the glowing bits and pieces that you get of flickering and thrumming on there. Set bonus for this heavy armor is power transfer. Gain a damage stack and remove a defensive stack every 5 seconds. Taking damage transfers damage to defense. Damage stacks increase damage by up to 5%. Maximum of 5 stacks. Standing aim movement speed is increased by 30%. So if you're moving around and aiming, this is very much a kind of tanky. I'd argue that it's a very good all-purpose set. The only other armor that I haven't showed you is the bomber hat, which looks a little bit daft. With that armor, actually, I'm assuming you're supposed to wear it with the Adventurous set, because the Adventurous set didn't used to have a headpiece. Yeah, it kind of goes with that, doesn't it? Maybe not the same colour anymore. Put that back on the default. Yeah, it kind of works with that. And I seem to recall that was a pre-order bonus as well. So those are all of the armor set pieces in the game currently. I do like that glowing one. Let me know down in the comments below what your favourite armor set was or is. If I've missed any armor sets, because I might have done, but I don't think I have. If I've missed anything, again, let me know down below. Thank you all very much for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this look at the cosmetic options in Remnant from the Ashes' Swamps of Corsus DLC. The alternate skins are available for, let me just do some quick maths in my head, 25 for the body, 10 for the head, 15 for the feet. So several. 40? 50. Yeah, 50. I can do maths. This is why I teach English, folks. 50 of the glowing fragments a piece. Keep in mind that you always get 25 every time you do the 3 monoliths thing. So that's worth noting. Takes a while. Takes a long while. Until next time, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Have a good day. Stay safe. Cheerio. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.